Are you in the mood for a non-standard shonen anime? Do you want to enjoy a show that has a blend of romantic comedy, hard-hitting emotional backstories, supernatural thrills, and pure-off-the-walls action? If so, then please grab your tinfoil hats and protective talismans, because I'm here to talk about DanDaDan. And I'm Mr. J, wanting you to have a day. How the ball gets rolling starts with Momo Ayase and Okarun, your typical hot-headed gyaru in love and geek that's pushed around by his classmates, who respectively believe in the occult and the extraterrestrial. With this chance encounter and heated conversation between the two, both dare each other to visit a hot spot for aliens and ghosts. And as one could guess, the obvious happens. Momo has a non-consensual sexual encounter with aliens, and Okarun finds himself face-to-face with a bona fide yokai. Fortunately, Momo is able to fight back and keep her chastity intact. But unfortunately for Okarun, he gets his wiener gobbled up by Turbo Granny.
I'll let you suckle my teats, boy. If you let me gobble your dong.
However, that problem doesn't last long, as Okarun gets his dong back. But since it wouldn't be fun if DanDaDan ended then and there, the story then shifts into the duo having to find and retrieve Okarun's family jewels. I'm not making this up. I may have been writing this at 4 a.m. on chicken and fries, a donut, black coffee, tea, and lemonade like any respectable, sleep-deprived writer, but trust me, this is the least insane thing about DanDaDan.
雪の印に14時間戦いますか Regain 僕らの Regain 新しいケースに勇気の印遥か世界で戦いますか Businessman Japanese businessman
I suppose the hook of DanDaDan is that it introduces the main danger Okarun and Momo have to face early on. That being the looming threat of an alien invasion held back by none other than the various spirits of Earth. And I love both the anime and manga because it keeps the proverbial ball that is action and thrills rolling at a consistent pace, while also stitching moments of levity and daily life into the narrative, without creating the sense of bloated filler arcs that add nothing to the story, or drawn-out battles that, in episode format, take up a quarter of the year. It's also a fun watch and read because, unlike most typical shonen, the romance isn't left undercooked until the main character needs a power-up and their admirer finally proclaims their love, or it's until the very near end of the run where the love interest finally confesses to the main character and they get together. We thankfully have the duo giving us signs of loving each other, even if they're bad at showing and or telling one another their true feelings. Momo and Okarun aren't ultra-powerful on the get-go. As someone who's consumed their fair share of shonen anime and manga, it's refreshing to watch the protagonists be unfamiliar with their powers and start out weak and unrefined. Sometimes you just want the characters to have a light bulb moment before getting a power-up, and DanDaDan delivers. And the girls aren't feeble, helpless damsels in distress. Now, I've read the manga up to a substantial point, but as to remain spoiler-free for the time being, what I can say is Momo can throw hands. She has the aura of, alright, I'm done messing with your crap today, I'm tossing you around like a wet dishcloth. And I'm welcome to this because when you give your female characters or protagonists meaning and agency in a story instead of making them bumbling bimbos with nothing to do, it's like, whoa, they have meaning and relevance to the plot. That's so interesting. While there's a lot more in terms of tropes and writing fundamentals I can't recall off the top of my head, that's part of the appeal to DanDaDan. Most of the time, it goes against the typical conventions of shonen manga and anime, and is able to stand strong while doing so. And to clarify, this isn't me saying typical shonens are bad. I still love the big three, and My Hero Academia holds a special place in my heart. This is me saying that the mangaka, Yukinobu Tatsu, the rest of the staff behind the manga, and everyone who's firing on all cylinders working on the anime are a wonderful addition to the shonen I hold in high regard for different reasons. Now, unlike a handful of specific people who have very unhinged takes on anime and entertainment in general, who I personally believe need to be smacked back into reality, I actually like to try and throw a few pieces of media literacy into what I'm talking about. And the few short explanations I have are on the nature of embarrassment, the desire to fit in, and the awkwardness of growing up in general. I won't dance around the issue. Sometimes the main cast ends up having to run around in the buff because the aliens and yokai they face don't understand the nature of human shame. That, and I would like to infer that Yukinobu Tatsu does it to show that we've all been in situations where we've had to run around in our underwear, feeling mortified and scared that we'll look stupid or risque in front of our peers. Other times, as the anime shows, we see characters whom we despised at first have a deeper meaning to their anger, their attitude, and their antagonistic disposition towards Okarun, Momo, and the rest of the main cast. To find peers that will reciprocate their desire for friendship, or people that won't shun or make fun of the hobbies or activities they practice. And from our outside observations of Momo and Okarun, we witness the changes in relationships, realizing the nature of one's bad intentions and owning up to them, and understanding that you have to work on yourself, to have confidence, in order to achieve the things you want in life. What were some embarrassing memories you remember from high school that you laugh at? What friendships and relationships did you make outside of school? And how did you deal with the trials and tribulations of being a teenager? Those were some of the thoughts I had while watching and reading DanDaDan. And I hope you have similar thoughts and/or questions while enjoying the anime and/or manga. I say this because I can't assume you and I went through the same things, or had the same thoughts. We're radically different people living vastly different lives. The most I can hope for is that you're able to look back on yourself and take what I've said and laugh at your old self in stride. As we're a few minutes away from ending the video, I do have a few other things I want to share. If YouTube isn't being the king of severe mental damage today, then a few of the clips I've shown are actually parts from the manga expanded upon in the anime. That's how dedicated the animation staff at Science Saru are at making DanDaDan an experience to remember. Whether it was a single panel or an entire couple of pages, the team made the most of the time they were given. They didn't have to go the extra mile, but they did. Thank you, Science Saru, for your hard work, and I hope you're behind Season 3 as well. Right, next. We call Okarun by his nickname because it's part of the running gag in DanDaDan. And that's because Okarun's real name is Ken Takakura. Yes, like the famous Japanese actor. And Momo has less of a no thoughts, head empty type of reaction, and more deeply invested Takakura fan, and hormonal teenage girl brain go brr, views go pop, and she'll stop right where she is and mentally shut down on the spot. It's literally every time Momo hears his name.
Oh, I'm Ken Takakura. Honest to God, that's my real name, Ken Takakura.
Nice form, Ken Takakura!
I'll cooperate, but I'll not let you have Master Ken Takakura!
Ken Takakura, I appreciate you wanting to help these.
Music-wise, if my video wasn't flagged and lobotomized by the bots running and curating YouTube content instead of actual humans, then you should be hearing an instrumental version of DanDaDan's opening theme, Otonoke by Crazy Nuts, who, if the name sounds familiar, are the same band who did Bling Bang Bang Born for Mashle. A couple of my other favorites are William Hell Overtune by Kensuke Ushio and Taidada by Zutomayo. As for the rest of the soundtrack, it is going to be a Wikipedia link in the description because I am trying to get you to watch DanDaDan. I'm not trying to talk your ear off for 2 hours. That can come way later in the year. Or next year. Probably next year. But if you're listening to Kevin MacLeod and video game music, assume I had to re-upload the video because of the constant bogus copyright system that almost every YouTuber has to face. And lastly, whatever streaming service you're using to watch DanDaDan on, not gonna be an elitist over it, don't worry about DanDaDan being 12 pump and dump episodes. The manga's a big hit, and so is the anime, and not a few hours after dropping my Alarmo video, the Season 2 trailer of DanDaDan was up on YouTube. It's airing July of this year in North America, and covering the Cursed House arc. I can't wait for the volcano and the copious amounts of sticky white fluid! I know what you're thinking, but it will make sense when you watch it. Well, that's everything I can think of in hopes of getting you to watch. To stick with it, laugh, cry, and get hyped up for everything DanDaDan has to offer. I think we all need a fun, action-packed, romantic, and heartfelt bit of entertainment to get us through the year. But hey, I'm Mr. J, and I'm on Team Mocharoon.